it's a little disappointing going back to Sabonis and his backups that Holmes has just really been non-existent. I mean, he scored 2 points on Monday night. Um,
Very, very hesitant defensively.
yeah,
Just kind of slow on on rotations. He'll have guys attack the paint, and then he'll just kind of hesitate on whether he should contest the shot or not. I think that happened once or twice last night. He's and offensively, like I think it was it against the Heat where he had. I think it was against the Hornets. Maybe it might happen in both games where he got the ball like low in the post. I think on the one in the Hornets, I think it was a missed alley oop opportunity with him and Monk, and he got the ball into the rim and he still got it in there. And I think in Miami, or not in Miami, but against Miami at home on this previous Saturday, he I think got the ball into the rim again and like slammed it down. It was like an energy moment. Um,
yeah,
and he has these moments where you'd see the old Holmes, but you know, it's been disappointing to see him. He had that 15-point game a couple of games ago,
yeah, against
but
Golden State.
but even in that game, it was like I didn't think he played particularly well. You know,
No, I have two theories, and these could be completely wrong. But one, he's mad. He's mad that he's a bench player now. He signed, seemed like a friendly contract to stay in Sacramento. He, he's getting paid starter money. You don't pay that kind of money to a backup. Um, and he gets a bonus. And I mean, the end of last season and everything, I think that was a little different because he had stuff going on outside of basketball off the court. But I don't know. Maybe he's just upset now, and he just looks really lost. And that kind of brings me to my second point: is that this is his first year in SAC without Halliburton, and him and Halliburton had a pretty good 2-man game. He's getting a lot of lobs from Halliburton. He just doesn't have that guard passer that he had in Halliburton. Like Fox is, decent and Mitchell's decent, but Halliburton was really special, and you could definitely see that bond between the two, that 2-man game, and he doesn't have that anymore. And I don't know.
he kind of does with Monk and Davis a little bit, but
Okay.
it's just like it doesn't work as well. It's kind
Yeah.
of predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But he had like a little bit of you see that's the thing with him is it's like you see these flashes where it's like, oh, there he is. Particularly on offense, you really have not seen him play particularly well on defense, which is really disappointing. Because you think he would be so good as a kind of a more mobile five at switching and whatnot, but he just leaves these. He gets. I don't know if he's fogged up, not not his goggles are getting fogged up and he can't see, or if he's just not totally in it or whatever the case is. It's just like a lot of the times it's just like, man, I don't know. That's rough. But he's just been inconsistent and mostly bad.
Yeah, and oh man, it just kind of feels like the whole bench until I mean, Monk has been inconsistent. Mitchell finally stepped up on Monday night, but I mean, he was on the offensive end. He was terrible until Monday night. I don't know. I feel like going into the season with the potential of Mitchell, Monk, I guess Terrence Davis, Trey Lyles, who's been good since he was put back in the lineup, and Holmes. Like that's a pretty good second unit. Like that's might be one of our strong points as a team. Hasn't looked that way. It's been really bad. I mean, Monk's had some good games, but he's also had a lot of bad ones in between. So, and it's still early, so it feels weird saying it, but he's like, he either has a good game or he just cannot make a shot.
He looked like he was going to have a good game against the Hornets. He had 7 points. He had all of his 7 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I think he hit 2 threes in that quarter. It's like, okay, there he is.
Uh-huh.
Again, to use that expression again. But, yeah, I don't know. But to stick to kind of the center situation there, Len. So, first of all, it was a problem because Len came in. He didn't really look ready. He didn't look ready at all. And also, you see his glaring weakness. I mean, we talk about like Holmes has the potential to be able to switch on to other players and at least be somewhat effective, where it doesn't become this huge liability. Where it's just like, get this guy on, always get him to switch on him, Um, we talk about Domas, kind of like that can be kind of an issue with him sometimes. Len, when it comes to switching, if he's not guarding the paint in a zone or just guarding a 5, if he's not battling with Nick, Jokic, what is he? You don't want him out there.
Yeah.
And it's like this team is so bad at rim protection. The leading blocks is coming from Keegan Murray, won a game. He's the only person on the team with 1 or more blocks a game. Sabonis is second at 0.8. And, Lyles has had a couple of big moments in these last 2 games. Maybe that average will click up for him a little bit. But Lyles is not a rim protector. So it's like, even when Len's out there, it's just like, for all these other reasons that I'm pointing out, it also takes away his defensive strength, which is the fact that he's like a giant. So it's like I said, unless you're playing like Jokic or something like that, where you need him to battle with a guy, man, it's just like Len's almost unplayable. Not unplayable. I don't want to say that, because I feel like he had some moments. I don't remember what game it was, where it's like, it's not like he's a huge liability all the time, but it's just like, he played like 5 or 6 minutes, I think, against the Hornets, and it was not good.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the defensive ratings on just the net ratings on some of the lineups he was in last against the Hornets, it's just not good. And you could see it. He didn't pass the eye test in terms, and that's one of the things too, is this team. Metu got commended for it after the Golden State game. Lyles has been commended for it basically twice now. It's just like, Mike Brown likes it when guys stay ready. And you said it about Delly. You just have to be ready. And it's just like, Holmes is part of the rotation. It just doesn't seem like he's consistently ready. You see it from Len. He didn't seem like he was ready. For as bad, not as bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's like, Paulo was ready. Even when he goes in for those last 2 seconds of a quarter or a half, just to make sure that they don't get a good shot opportunity, get some length and athleticism out there. It's like, he's ready. He's ready to do that. Like, Moneke wasn't particularly good nor should he really have been playing in his minutes against Memphis. But it's like, he's ready to go. There's an energy to him. And that's, I wouldn't say, you could probably say disengaged a little bit more to Richaun Holmes. I wouldn't really say that to Len. But, it's an interesting thing. I don't know. It's just been really disappointing, because you ask anybody, you ask us. I think we said it. I think I heard Brendan Nunes say it. You hear other guys say it all the time, that the positional strength, of this team is definitely the center position, because you have 2 arguably great starters at center, going 1-2, and then Len is a admirable number 3, and it's just not panned out behind Sabonis. And while Sabonis has played better, the other 2 have just kind of fallen off.
Yeah, I mean, they have. I don't really have much to add to that. It's just disappointing. I feel like that's a word I've been using a lot for the beginning of the season, especially with the bench. It's just been disappointing. Especially Holmes. I thought, I really wanted him to come out and have a good year. He's just such a likable guy, and he gave us his all in his first 2 years in SAC. And I kind of felt bad for what he had to go through at the end of last year. And so I was glad he could come back, kind of not really a clean slate, but, he's back from what he had to deal with off the court. He had a new role on this team, and I just was hoping he could play with that same energy that he did as a starter. And he just hasn't. I hope he can get out of that funk and that he can start being productive. But I mean, until then, it's just disappointing and frustrating. I don't know. It hasn't been good. I don't have a lot more to say on that topic than that.